One of you, can you please confirm if you are able to see my presentation? Yes, please confirm if you are able to see my presentation. M. Aditi, for you are able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir. It's
Yes,
clear.
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, thank you. Fine. So, just a quick recap of what we have discussed in our previous class. We started with amplifier distortion. Distortion is some change in the expected waveform. Okay, means input we are giving sinusoidal, output we are not getting exact sinusoid. Okay, there is change in shape of the output waveform, and that is distortion. Okay, and then what are the categories in distortion? You have amplitude distortion, frequency distortion, phase distortion. Okay, so in the last class we discussed about amplitude distortion, right? And in today's class we will go for frequency distortion, okay, and phase distortion. Last class we have seen amplitude distortion. Today's class we will see frequency distortion and phase distortion. Okay, so frequency distortion. Now, what do you mean by frequency distortion? Is, see, you have, for example, say your audio signal from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, right? Your amplifier may not be able to amplify all the frequencies uniformly. Okay, means for some frequencies the gain is higher, and for some other frequencies the gain is lower. Okay, such a problem is called as frequency distortion, right? Your amplifier unable to amplify all the ranges, okay, all the entire range of frequency uniformly, then it is your frequency distortion. Okay, next. So, what are the reasons for this frequency distortion is? Can anybody tell me what is impedance of a capacitor? Impedance offered by capacitor. Can anybody tell me? XC in terms of omega C. Can anybody tell me what is XC for a capacitor? Okay. I repeat, for, I hope you are able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Can you please tell me what is the impedance offered by a capacitor in terms of frequency and the capacitance? Can anybody please give me the answer? What is XC?
1 by omega c.
1 by?
Omega c.
Okay, very good. 1 by omega C. So what is the impedance offered by a capacitor? Is it depending on frequency? Yes or no? Is the impedance
Yes.
of, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what we have observed here is for a capacitor, XC, okay, for a capacitor, the XC is given by what? XC is given by, one of you has given me the answer. What is that? 1 by?
Omega c.
Very good. 1 by omega C. Okay. It is 1 by omega C. So what is omega? Nothing but omega is, what is omega? 2 pi F, isn't it?
Yes.
So XC is equals to, XC is inversely related to your frequency. Okay. So what happens if you have capacitor in a circuit? Okay. For different frequencies, you get different impedance. Yes or no? Whenever I have a capacitor, yes or no? whenever I have a capacitor in a circuit, for different frequencies, it gives different impedance. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what happens is the because for different frequencies it gives different impedance. The characteristic of the overall amplifier is different for different frequencies, and that can add to your frequency distortion. Okay, that can add to your frequency distortion. Now, okay, not only the capacitor, even inductor, isn't it? What is XL for an inductor? XL for an inductor. Yes.
Omega L, sir.
Very good. Omega L in terms of frequency, 2 pi F.
FL.
Very good. 2
FL.
pi FL. Yes. For an inductor, the impedance is what? 2 pi FL. F for frequency. What it means is if the value of F means if the value of frequency changes, then the impedance changes. Now, to the amplifier, when I give different, when I give a signal with different frequencies, okay, for example, my voice signal is from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, okay, right? So, okay, audio signal is from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, consists of different frequencies, okay, consists of different frequencies. Now, your circuit, if it contains capacitor or if it contains inductor, for different frequency, these components provide different impedance, and because of that, you get different gains for different frequencies. Okay, so the components that are responsible for frequency distortion are inductor and capacitor. Okay, not only the components, right? Not only the components internal, not only the components inductor and capacitor. Now, see. PN junction, how many, say PN junction diode, right? How many junction does it have? PN, a single PN junction, isn't it? Okay. What about, yes, what about bipolar junction transistor? How many junctions does it have?
2.
Very good. Bipolar junction transistor has 2 junctions. Say NPN. NPN transistor has 2 PN junctions. NP, one PN junction, another PN, another junction. Now, this junction gives capacitive effect. Okay, a junction gives capacitive effect. For example, reverse bias condition. What happens to a junction under reverse bias condition? Right, there is depletion region. For example, say PN junction reverse biased. We have what? P region, N region, in the middle you have depletion region, isn't it? Now this depletion region is equivalent to a dielectric. Okay, this depletion region is equivalent to a dielectric, and the phases on either side of the depletion region, they are equivalent to conductor. Okay, so this overall structure gives capacitive effect. Okay, under reverse bias, even under forward bias. Okay, how does a PN junction diode work? You have holes on the P side as majority charge carriers, electrons on N side as the majority charge carriers. Under forward bias, the holes and electrons, they move towards each other, and at the junction they combine. Okay, so at the junction there is continuous recombination happening, and there is loss of charge carriers. Okay, so even under your forward bias condition, there is a small region, right, between the two P and N junctions, and then that gives the effect of a capacitor. Okay, so based on this, you have capacitance in both forward as well as reversed bias condition. So what I am trying to say is, now when you construct a transistor based amplifier, the junctions of the transistor, they give the capacitive effect, and that will also contribute to frequency distortion. Okay, so in simple words, not only the external components, capacitance and inductance, not only the external components, but also the internal, okay, the internal capacitances and the internal inductance. For example, if you take a small wire, it has all the properties. It has resistance, capacitance, inductance, and certain conditions they may be negligible. However, it has maybe small value, but it has. Okay, a wire has both resistance, capacitance, inductance. These are called as parasitic values, parasitic capacitance, parasitic inductance, and so on. So these contribute to your frequency distortion. Okay, so here is an example of your frequency distortion. Now, what can you see here? When frequency is changed along x-axis, see, if the gain was constant, then you say there is no frequency distortion. Now, what is happening is the gain in this region, okay, somewhat constant, but here the gain is shooting up for high frequencies. Hence, here it is mentioned too much high frequency gain. Okay, hence it is mentioned too much of high frequency gain. Okay, so this is one sort of distortion, that is when you are changing frequency, when we are changing frequency along x-axis. Here, when we are changing frequency along x-axis, the gain is no longer, say, in the mid band, the gain is no longer constant, but it is higher for higher frequency, and that leads to distortion. Okay, so this is an example where there is too much of high frequency gain. Next, another case. Here, when we are increasing frequencies, for higher frequencies, the gain is lower. Okay, for higher frequencies, the gain is lower. So this is another case where insufficient high frequency gain you have. What it means is, see, any frequencies in this range will be amplified properly, but these signals, okay, the signals which are in this frequency will be amplified to a lower amplitude, and that will cause distortion. Okay, now how will you test your frequency distortion? A simple technique is, we will give a square wave input. Okay, square wave input. See, the idea is very, very easy and very important. What is Fourier series? Can anybody give me answer? Fourier series. What is Fourier series? 459 L Srinija. Fourier series expansion. Can you please tell me what it is? 459 L Srinija. Can you tell me what does your Fourier series expansion give you? Please turn off your mic, turn on your mic and tell me. L Srinija. Okay, L Srinija not present. $489 P Nikita. P Nikita, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what is Fourier series expansion? Yes, please turn on your mic. What does you have? You might have done this in your mathematics, right? Have you found out Fourier series expansion for a given signal? P Nikita, I can't hear you. Yes. Answer, please.
It is a combination of sine and cos.
Very good. Okay. What you're doing in Fourier series is, a given signal you are representing in terms of sinusoidal signal. Okay. You are representing in terms of sinusoidal signals for different frequencies. Okay, a given signal, fundamental frequency plus harmonics. Of course, there could be a constant, right? A naught plus B naught. There could be also a constant term. But in general, what you're doing is you're representing in terms of sinusoidal signal. So what I want to convey is, see, the square wave input, you can represent this in terms of sinusoidal signals of different frequencies. Okay. And now say you have square wave and it is in terms of different sinusoidal frequencies. When you plot all these together and add, you will get back your square waveform. Now, how to test frequency distortion is take amplifier, give this square wave input, okay? And if the output you get like this, then it is poor high frequency gain, okay? And if the output you get something like this, then it is too much high frequency gain. So how do you understand this is, see, high frequency means there is a sudden transition. For example, here, this rising edge, there is a sudden transition of signal from 0 to 1. Okay. Now, when your amplifier has poor high frequency gain, okay, if your amplifier has poor high frequency gain, it will not be able to respond to this sudden rise. It will gradually, okay, increase because high frequency, okay, right? High frequency gain is poor, okay, high frequency gain is poor. High frequency corresponds to this sudden transition. It will not be able to adapt to that sudden transition. It will gradually change. Okay, so take an amplifier, give this input. If you get this output, then it means that your amplifier has poor high frequency gain. It means there is frequency distortion, and the problem is due to poor high frequency gain. Okay, now another case. Suppose your amplifier has, say, too much of high frequency gain, means at high frequency it will amplify much more. Okay, so this part corresponds, as I mentioned, there is sudden transition. Okay, sudden transition means at small time the signal is changing. Okay, at very short duration, right? Here at very small delta t, x-axis is time, y-axis is voltage. At very small delta t for short duration, the signal is rising from 0 to maximum value. Okay. Now, this part will be amplified too much because this corresponds to high frequency. Okay, this corresponds to high frequency. I hope you are able to understand. I am showing you the x-axis is time. Okay, in the time versus voltage plot, I am trying to identify the high frequency component where there is sudden change. Short duration, for small delta t, there is high change in voltage, means time is small, frequency is large. Okay, so that part will be amplified more. So when you have this rising edge, okay, it will not just rise and then remain constant as it is in this case. Because of too much high frequency gain, this will rise. Okay, this will go beyond the specified value and it will oscillate and then it maintains constant. Okay, so this is called as ringing effect. This is called as ringing effect. You come across that when you are having problem of too much high frequency gain. Okay, so next we will go for the techniques how to reduce the frequency distortion, okay, or preventing frequency distortion. Okay, here are some points. I want you to think and tell me why is it so. It says that negative feedback, if you give negative feedback, you can reduce gain. Okay, if you think, as I keep telling you, if you think you understand better, think and tell me. I give you 1 minute time. Think and tell me, how is it possible that if I give negative feedback, my distortion will be reduced? Please think and give me answer. Take 1 minute time. Okay, anybody ready with the answer? Okay, no problem. See, what happens when you give negative feedback? Okay, what happens when you give negative feedback is, as I told you in the previous class, negative feedback will reduce the gain. Okay, right? Negative feedback. What you are doing in negative feedback is a portion of output you are taking and you are subtracting with the input that you are giving. Okay, so what happens is the net input to your amplifier is now reduced. Okay, negative feedback. Negative means subtraction. So what happens when you give negative feedback? When you do subtraction, the net input to the amplifier block is reduced, so gain reduces. Okay, gain reduces. So when gain reduces, okay, there is a relationship between gain and bandwidth. Okay, when gain reduces, obviously the bandwidth increases. Okay, so it is like this. Say an amplifier has, there is something called as slew rate. There is something called as slew rate. That is the change in the signal amplitude that a device, that is, for example, your transistor amplifier, can respond. Okay, so when gain reduces, what happens is the response of the amplifier increases. Okay, right? So for example, it is like this. If the gain is very high, suddenly changing, okay, suddenly changing, then what happens is your amplifier will not be able to respond to that sudden change. Now, when you give high frequency, what happens? This oscillations. Okay, first low frequency is this. Okay, high frequency is like this. So what happens is the change in voltage with respect to time. Okay, the change in voltage with respect to time will be high for high frequency. Okay, right? So what happens is your device will not be able to respond. Okay, so that is the reason when you reduce gain. Okay, when you reduce gain, there is scope for higher frequency. Say for example, signal swing is only this much. Okay, signal swing is only this much. Then even if the frequency is higher, okay, even if the frequency is higher, your device will be able to respond. Okay, so what happens is if you reduce gain, in simple words, if you reduce gain, bandwidth increases. Now I'm going to the previous slide. So when you reduce gain, bandwidth increases means the response will become flatter. Okay, the response will become flatter. The values here will increase. For example, this is say 10,000. It becomes this value. Okay, let us say this constant portion is from say somewhere around 30 to say somewhere around 50 500. Okay, 30 to 500. Now when I reduce this gain, this will increase. Say for suppose the graph will change like this, and then flatter. Say the graph will become like this, flatter response for longer frequencies, and then it will fall. Okay, in simple words, if I reduce gain, bandwidth increases, and this I can achieve by negative feedback. Okay, this I can achieve by negative feedback. So how are we doing that? We are reducing the amplitude at the output, and we are allowing the transistor, okay, we are allowing the transistor to respond for higher frequencies, okay, to respond for higher frequencies, and that can give us increased that can give us increased bandwidth. And when the bandwidth increases, okay, when the overall bandwidth increases, for example, okay, for example, my requirement is from 20 hertz to say 20 kilohertz. Due to some problem, it is okay. It is becoming say it is only flat up to say 10 kilohertz, right? So I don't have the sufficient bandwidth and I have distortion. Now, by reducing the gain using negative feedback, bandwidth increases. I will be able to get the amplification for the entire range of frequencies, and that is how I get reduced frequency distortion. Okay, so this is about frequency distortion. This is called as overshoot. Okay, the signal that we have here, this is called as overshoot. Why it is called overshoot? Can anybody give me answer? Can anybody give me answer? See here, what is happening? I am giving input like this. But if I have too much high frequency gain, then I get this ringing effect. This effect is called as ringing effect. Okay. And here it is overshooting. Why it is called overshooting? Because it is going beyond the required level, overshoot. Okay, so this is called as your overshoot. And again, see, if it overshoots, again it comes down. Okay, again it comes down, and it has to maintain, isn't it? It has to maintain that constant value. So what happens is you have oscillations. Okay, you have oscillations. Okay, so we have seen that using negative feedback, we can suppress frequency distortion. Okay, next, phase distortion. The last one is phase distortion. Now, say we have already discussed that audio signal, okay, ranging from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, has different frequency components. Okay, right? So you can view it as a combination of different signals. What you can view your audio signal as combination of sinusoidal signal with different frequencies. Multiple sinusoidal signals with different frequencies to combine, okay, and that is how you can represent your audio signal. Okay. Now, again, the amplifier that you have, either it has resistance, capacitance, and inductance as components, or internal resistance, internal capacitance, internal inductance. It has either this or those values. Okay. Now, these will add to your phase distortion. How? Suppose, okay, have you studied lead and the lag? What happens in a capacitor? Voltage and current. What is the relationship between voltage and current in a capacitor? Does it lead or lag? Can anybody give me answer? Can anybody give me answer? M. Aishwarya, 466. M. Aishwarya.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you tell me what happens in a capacitor? What is the relationship between current and voltage? Yes, current, it leads voltage or lags voltage. Likewise, for the case of inductor, can you give me answer?
No, sir.
Okay, anybody, can you give me answer? Have you studied that? 457, K. Sailesh. 457 K Sailesh. Are you able to hear? Please turn on your mic. Okay, anyway, so what I want to tell is your, see, whenever you have these resistors, capacitors, and inductors in your amplifier, they give phase shift. Okay, they give phase shift, right? Like for example, what is the, say, RL? RL in series, what is the equivalent impedance? R plus J omega L, isn't it? Okay, R and L in series, it is the equivalent impedance is R plus J omega L, right? Okay. Now, what happens? What is the phase shift that you have here? The phase shift will be tan inverse of imaginary part by real part, isn't it? Okay. So tan inverse of omega L by R, that will be your phase shift corresponding to the input, right? That you have. In simple words, RL, RC, okay, or your LC, any of these combinations will give you phase shift. Okay, will give you phase shift. And now for different frequencies, again, the impedance is changing, isn't it? Okay, impedance of capacitor or inductor. We have just seen earlier that for different frequencies, they provide different impedance. Means for different frequencies, they offer different phase shift. Okay, that will cause your phase distortion. Okay, that will cause phase distortion. Now, a serious problem could be you are giving negative feedback to reduce gain. Okay, negative feedback means subtraction, right? Due to phase shift, what happens is instead of subtraction, okay, see sinusoidal signal. If you phase shift by 180 degrees, okay, if you phase shift by 180 degrees, it becomes minus sign. Okay, sin x, if you phase shift by 180 degrees, it becomes minus sin x. So what happens? Instead of negative feedback, minus of minus, it becomes positive feedback. Okay, and that can cause to the instability of your amplifier. Okay, let us see a problem where your phase shift can, okay, your phase shift can change the shape of your waveform. For example, this is what you are expecting, okay, right? Say this is what you are expecting at the output of your amplifier, red signal, okay, the red graph, right? Now, as we have discussed, you can represent this red graph, in terms of sinusoidal signals, okay? So first sinusoidal signal, this black one, fundamental frequency, okay? Then third, okay, harmonic. Fundamental frequency means sin omega t. This is like sin 3 omega t, okay? Sin 3 omega t. Then sin 5 omega t. Now, when you add this sin omega t, sin 3 omega t, sin 5 omega t with the corresponding whatever amplitudes they have, then you recover this original red signal. Okay. Now, this is what will happen when there is no phase distortion. Okay. When there is no phase distortion means in phase. The effect of adding in phase odd harmonics. Okay. So I hope you understand how you can represent a signal in terms of its sinusoidal components, fundamental frequency. This is something like some constant A naught sin omega t. Another constant, this is corresponding to third harmonic. Okay, third harmonic. So that is say A3 sin 3 omega t. And again, this is corresponding to fifth harmonic, that is your A5 sin omega t. Now, when you keep on adding these harmonics, you will get the complete square waveform, okay, up to infinite. Okay, now what happens if you have the phase distortion. Okay, phase distortion. That is, now let us say the third harmonic has been phase shifted. Okay, has been phase shifted. Now, instead of getting instead of getting almost something like a square wave, okay, you are getting something like a triangle wave. Okay, so that is distortion due to your phase shift. Okay. Now, here, for example, I am speaking. Okay, I am speaking. Now, let me say, okay, let me say, I am waiting for say 10 milliseconds and then I am speaking. Is it creating any problem to you? No. Even if I am waiting for 1 minute and then I am speaking, still you are not confused. Okay. So what happens is in your in your audio amplifiers, phase distortion is not a problem. Okay, in your audio amplifier, phase distortion means your signal has shifted. Okay, your signal has shifted with respect to time axis, right? So if I speak now,